Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 2286A, and today's date is September 25th, 2020, and the title of the episode is IMF and the Global Elite Just Fell into the Trap. Watch what happens next. Now, the globalists, the central bankers, they are now caught up in their own trap. Remember, they created this entire pandemic. They created this event to bring down the economy, to explain away why their system doesn't work. And they were going to use this because they thought the economy was going to be shut down for a very long time. What has happened? Well, nothing they thought was going to happen. The economy was not shut down until November. Actually, the economy, after a month or so, maybe 2 months, came back up. A lot of the countries started to open up. It didn't go as planned. So, number one, they don't have their event, a war or something like that. Number two, the event they tried to push to explain away why the economy is going to fail, they don't have that either. Now, what does that really mean? Well, remember, there's the U.S. economy, where Trump is creating a parallel economy, a people's economy, where he's bringing back manufacturing, deregulating, giving tax incentives, tax holidays, you name it. Eventually, he'll be going after the central bank. We have the rest of the world. It's almost like if you look at the Paris Climate Accord, or if you look at COVAX, you have the United States, which does not belong to any of this, and then you have the rest of the world. Same thing here with the economy. The U.S. is on a completely different track than the rest of the world. The rest of the world is still working within the confines of the central bank system. They've done nothing else except do what the central bank has said. Trump has been dictating to the central bank, telling them what he wants. He's playing within their world, and he's also playing outside of their world, where he's building the U.S. economy at the same time, removing all the regulations they put into place, removing the tax burdens that they put into place, bringing the people back up that were pushed down, narrowing the inequality, the wage gap. Because what did the central bankers do? They pushed the people completely apart. And the 99%, a lot of these individuals, they had to go on to government support. Trump is removing this. Now, the rest of the world, they're in trouble because they're still with a central bank system. What does that mean? It means they're trapped. Is the United States trapped? No. And this is how the patriots actually use this chaos to trap the central bankers, which we'll be discussing in a little bit. But first, the globalists, they haven't stopped pushing their agenda. Remember, they want the United States to be a third world country. They want to destroy the United States, period. Economically, socially, you name it. And out in California, we can see that they are pushing their agenda out there in Seattle, in Oregon, in all these different states. And Governor Newsom, he just announced that the state will ban sales of gas-powered vehicles. This will become effective in 2035. Because of all the fires, because of global warming, this is what they are using to convince everyone that everything will be electric. Now, didn't California just have rolling blackouts? Didn't they just have problems? Actually, doesn't California have a lot of problems? It seems that they do. And whatever happened to that high-speed train where they spent billions upon billions? What happened to that? How come it wasn't completed? And now he wants to ban fuel, the combustion engine, full electric. And where's the electric coming from? What? The Hoover Dam? Do you really believe that's where all the electric is coming from? No. What they are doing, they are moving forward with their global warming, getting rid of oil, getting rid of coal, getting rid of all of this. Trying to push the people in the direction they want them to go. Is it going to work? Absolutely not. After all these governors and mayors and what they've done to the economy inside their state, the people are going to be looking at this and they're going to say, no way. Yes, there'll be some that say, yes, let's do it. But others, they're going to say, no, this cannot happen right now. Not after what you've done to the economy. Not after what you've done and destroyed our way of life. Now, the economy across the country as a whole, yes, there are still places that are shut down. Yes, there are places that are suffering. But as a whole, since Trump, and remember, he doesn't control all the governors and the mayors. He left it up to them and what they were going to do with their states, with their cities. But as a whole, with the country, we're starting to see a lot of V recoveries. And we're also seeing it in many different sectors, like durable goods. They have moved up for the fourth straight month right now. A little bit slower than before, but it's still moving up. And we're seeing that V recovery. And it has risen by 0.4% in August. And we can see that the V recovery is taking shape. Yes, it's slowed a little bit, but I do believe what's going to happen is once we get past the elections, this is going to take off. And remember, Trump doesn't have to bring the economy back to where it was pre-pandemic. All he has to do is show improvement, show that people are getting jobs. The unemployment numbers are coming down. The stock market's staying up. Precious metals is holding steady. This is all he has to do. And if he can go out and create new opportunity zones, create jobs in areas where they didn't exist because they were getting rid of. If he does this, which he is doing, people are going to see this. Look at Minnesota with the Iron Range. Look at Maine with the fisheries. He is doing this and people are noticing. And what we are seeing is we're seeing the economy improve. He is using the chaos to undo everything the central bank, the deep state, the globalists have done. And he's also using the chaos to trap the central bank and the globalists in their entire event. Now remember, the central bank, they need an event to cover up what is coming. They thought there was going to be another president. They thought they'd be able to have a war. They can say, oh, look, there's scarcity. There's a credit freeze. Everyone's going to have to sacrifice. We're in war. This is why the economy's not doing well. They couldn't use that. They thought they were going to use the pandemic to cover all of this up because they thought the economy was going to be shut down for a very long time, and they could explain this away. But as the UK is coming back online, all of a sudden, retail sales are returning. The United States, as it's coming back online, we're seeing huge V recoveries in many different sectors. But Europe is still having a problem. Now, what's very interesting is that the number 2 at the IMF, he is saying that the global economy could take years to heal and that it could take a long time before we return to 2019 levels. Now, this is coming from the first deputy managing director, Jeffrey Okamoto. Now, think about what he's saying right now. He's with the IMF, with the central bank establishment, that we are not going to see a recovery for quite a while. Now, what happens when the United States is recovering and it's doing better than ever? Because remember what Trump said. As we get through this third quarter and we get into the fourth quarter, we're going to see the economy take off. Actually, they're already making predictions right now that the holiday season is going to be absolutely fantastic, especially when the entire fear-mongering completely disappears with the virus. Think about what happens when nobody has to wear a mask anymore. When all this goes away, what do you think people are going to do? You think they're going to go out and say, let's go out to dinner, let's go shopping, let's go back to work, let's bring the kids here, let's do this? They're going to be doing all of this. We're going to see the entire economic system just shoot up. People are going to be happy. They're going to be feeling good. And they're going to be ready to go out there to do things. And what's very interesting is we even have Jim Bullard. He's saying, and he's with the St. Louis Fed, he says that a full economic recovery is possible by year end. Now, remember, everyone in the central bank is not a bad guy. There are good guys and bad guys within the central bank. Remember, Trump is going to be putting Judy Shelton onto the board. She's waiting for confirmation. She'll be on the board, and she'll be able to start restructuring the Fed. So what did Trump just do during this entire period of time? Well, the globalists, the central bank, is saying that the economy is not going to recover for many, many years. And when the United States is recovering and doing better than ever, and the Fed is being restructured, and the United States is moving away from the central bank system, how does the rest of the world look? Did Trump just all of a sudden create a crisis for the central bank system? Remember, the central bank has lost control here in the United States. They're not in control of what is going on. Yes, the central bank establishments, and there's many different ones, the IMF, the BIS, you have the ECB, you have the private Western central banks in each country. They're still taking orders from the top. Trump, the Patriots, they cut the Fed off from those individuals. They have complete and utter control. So when the United States does really, really well and the economy is doing fantastic and the rest of the world is just sitting there and it's getting worse and there's no improvement, people can't find jobs, are people going to look at the central bank? Are people going to question the central bank? Because why is the United States doing so well and the rest of the world isn't? Can Trump start making a case and push the crisis forward where everyone looks at the central bank? Of course he can. And then everyone, and I'm not just talking about the people in government, I'm talking about the people of the country, say, listen, we can't do this anymore. Look at the United States. It's like a shining bright light on top of a hill, and why can't we do anything? Because we're listening to the central bank. Trump is driving everything in the United States, and the economy's fantastic. This is the crisis. This is when people start to wake up. This is how he can point it out very easily. And it seems that the globalists, the central bank, the entire system, they just took the bait. They just trapped themselves, and they don't even know it. And he's going to use this against them, just like he used the Fed during the period of time when he came into office. It was 2017, 2018, 2019, where he kept on calling out and saying, listen, you need to lower the rates. You need to push stimulus. If you don't do this, the economy is going to crash. If you do what I'm saying, the stock market's going to go up. Housing is going to blast off. Everything's going to look incredible. Unemployment's going to go down. And of course, what was the mainstream media doing? They're saying, no, if he does this, it's going to crash the market. It's proven. If he does this, it's going to be a disaster for everyone. Everyone's going to get laid off. And then he forced the Fed to do what he said to do. They did it once. They did it twice. They kept doing it. And what happened to the economy? The economy improved. Now, does this mean that everything's okay? No, he used the central bank weapons against them. He knows how it works. If you lower rates and you push stimulus, the illusion can continue on. If you push even more stimulus and lower the rates, it gets even better. Does it last forever? No. He knows this. He doesn't need it to last forever. He only needs it to last for a certain period of time. So what he's done here, using their weapons against them, using their chaos against them, he has now trapped the central bank because the United States is going to continually improve. The rest of the world is not. And everyone will be looking at the central banks, the ECB, the IMF, and they're going to start to question all of this. Welcome to the crisis. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.